Earlier on the news, we told you that the National Judicial Council has instituted a probe panel to try 27 High Court judges for alleged judicial misconduct that was brought against them. And now I'm glad to let you know that we're being joined by the Executive Director, Sterling Center for Law, Deji Ajare. Thank you so much, Deji, for joining us on the news.
Good evening, and thank you for having me.
Okay, nice to know that you're there. Now, we're actually talking about judicial misconduct, and we're referring to issues around corruption, abuse of power, or any other action that actually can be said to be against the value of justice. So I'd like to know from you what your thoughts are and if those judges are actually guilty as charged.
Okay, thank you. You're calling me to perform functions that are way beyond my pay grade, but so it is not within my
it's actually to contextualize and have an understanding of what these particular allegations against these judicial officers are and if they're actually true.
Okay. Now, first, like I said, really, it is not in my place really to reach a conclusion on whether the indicted or the judicial officers are guilty or not. And I think that is purely within the powers of the NJC. And the NJC has already set the ball rolling for investigation and discipline of erring judges. Now, one thing I can tell you, however, is that in the meantime, before the outcome of the probe panels are out, actions like these are very welcome, generally, for the judiciary. The judiciary in recent years has suffered a great deal of damage to its reputation. And as a result of this, quite a lot of people have lost confidence in the capacity of the capability of the judicial system to indeed do justice. Some of these the damage done to the name, to the reputation of the judiciary arose from the conduct or other misconduct of judicial officers. There are allegations of bribery, there are allegations of bias, there are allegations of laziness. Now, specifically, some allegations that are bordering on financial impropriety have led a lot of people to reach the conclusions that justice is for sale and anybody with the right amount of money can purchase justice in Nigeria. Now, with these judges having been indicted based on at least prima facie cases that have been made out against them, the NJC is basically making a statement and telling the Nigerian people that no, there might be bad eggs within the judiciary, but we are going to make sure that those bad eggs are rooted out. They are, when they are discovered, if they are found guilty of misconduct, they will be punished. It is only when you have a system that creates accountability like this, that is when you can indeed ask people and join the populace to develop confidence in the judicial system.
I like to actually understand what is actually the bane of misconduct or maybe the subversion of justice by those actually meant to uphold the law within a judicial system. Let's put Nigeria in context.
Now, let me tell you, a jurist once said that a corrupt judge is worse than an armed robber. An armed robber. Now, it's simple. At least when you hear that a person is an armed robber, you naturally expect that you are in danger. In fact, naturally, as humans, we will take steps to prevent armed robbers from, accessing our houses or our properties, our assets. But then when someone is entrusted with position and authority to dispense justice, and when people feel aggrieved as a result of conduct of other persons, they come before such a person expecting that a fair and balanced decision will be reached after a thorough inquiry into the facts around it. But then when you now have a situation where such a person entrusted with this enormous power, including the powers of life and death, are able to now subvert the course of justice only for either because of financial inducement or familial relationships or some other things like that, then you create a society of criminals, because what it means is that such judicial officers the judicial officer who is involved is a criminal. Persons who come before them who have committed an offense are criminals. Now, you are now also now sending a message to all those well-behaved, properly conducting themselves within the society. You are already sending a message to them that, look, it is immaterial. You can do what you want as long as you have the right amount of money to purchase justice. It creates a situation.
Deji, some people actually blame the system for its failings. And even the fact that we have an outgoing Chief Justice of Nigeria, Olukayode Ariwoola, who has also been blamed by Nigerians for superintending over a very corrupt judicial regime. So what's your take on that? Because people feel it is the system that has given birth to this impunity. But then I'd like to take your thoughts on that.
But there is no doubt that the society generally is inadequate in terms of, corruption, and naturally, the institutions that arise from the society are also products of the society. Quite expectedly, they will also carry the character of the society in general. So no doubt. But this is the problem. Each of these institutions are manned or managed by persons who ordinarily can set things aright. So more importantly, for the judiciary, when you now have a head of the judiciary who superintended over a judiciary where for every 10 appointment that is made, at least 7 are of persons who have some familiar relationship, either with the Chief Justice of the Federation, with some justice of the Supreme Court or of the Court of Appeal, chief judges of the various states. It already tells you that that system already is rigged. It is rigged. And so when you have persons who come into office as judicial officers, not purely on merit, but on account of someone who they know, then you have already started breaking the foundation of the justice system.
Okay, so
yes, without any doubt, the judiciary is a product of the society. So but it behoves on the person who is managing that institution to ensure that proper things are done. And now you may not be able to take away every corrupt event or activity or officer from the system, but you will at least be sending messages to those who are corrupt that you are indeed serious. And while I will tell you that the performance of the outgoing Chief Justice of the Federation throughout this period is below par.
So instead of Deji, sorry to cut in, Deji. So instead of probing 27 High Court judges that some people feel they are being scapegoated in this case, would you rather advocate for the overhaul of the entire judicial system to ensure fairness in justice administration and rebuild public trust?
First, if you are not a goat, you will not be scapegoated. So the fact that somebody is being scapegoated means he is a goat. You cannot be witch hunted unless you're a witch. And so I think those arguments for me I would not go with them. If somebody has done something that is wrong and it is immaterial that 100 other people have gone away with it, what is most important is, did you do what you have been accused of doing? But indeed, does the entire judicial system need an overhaul? I quite agree. But one of the first steps that you must take is accountability. You must let people know that when they engage themselves in conducts that are contrary to their oaths of office, they will be disciplined. When you start doing that, then all your other efforts at reforming the system will be functional. They are likely to be functional, to be effective. And so I totally disagree that it is wrong to probe these 27 judges. I think this is actually the first and the appropriate steps to take.
All right, Deji Ajare.
When you want to clean up it.
Deji Ajare, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. We appreciate that.
Thank you so much for having me this evening.